So when we find slope from 2 points, you were just finding your change in y and your change in x, and you put them in a fraction just like we discussed the other day. You don't have to mark this for me. I just want you to see this formula right here. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That is what you will see on your, and of course, reference sheet, because you do get a reference sheet. You're not going to see me use this formula for a couple of reasons. One, I see students who plug in the numbers incorrectly in the wrong orders. And two, I see so many students who will subtract incorrectly, especially because you get negative numbers and whatnot. If this is a formula you use in 8th grade and you like it, then you go for it. You have my blessing to do that. You will never see me use it because even I have trouble with this sometimes. And so all you're going to see me do is instead, we're just going to find the change in y over the change in x. The same thing we did yesterday. That's what this means. When you subtract the y values, you're finding the change. When you subtract the x values, you're finding the change. So we're just going to focus on this instead of some crazy formula because you can do the same thing. You have two options on how to do this. I do not care which option that you choose. Whatever makes more sense for you. And when I say that, I mean whichever way you will have more success with. So 2 options. Here's the first one. Option 1 of how to find slope from 2 points. Find your change in x and change in y. And here's the super important part. Please make sure you start with the same point each time. This is option 1. And you can see if you like it. I should have given you more room. I didn't. So I'm going to rewrite these points. You don't have to. Okay, your x values are -3, 5, because please remember that it's x comma y. So to find my change in x, I go from -3 to 5. Think about a number line. If you're going from -3 to +5, are we adding or subtracting? And how much? Adding 8. So I would put +8. That's your x values. Your y values from 5 to 7. From 5 to 7, what's it do? Adding 2. Okay. So when you do your change in y over your change in x, please make sure you use your change in y on the top, because some of us are just like, oh yeah, 8 over 2. But 8 was your change in x. So please be careful. What's my change in y? +2. That has to go on the top. What is your change in x? +8. You can simplify this fraction. What can 2 and 8 both divide by? 2. So this fraction simplifies to 1/4. You can make a table. So first option is to just find your changes from the points. Your second option is to make a table. If you like this way better, then sweet, do it. Your 2 points are x, comma, y. So if you want to make a little table, this will be the tiniest table you've ever seen. 2 is x, y is -8. And then again, 5 is x, -11 is y. So x, y, your table. Then just like we did yesterday, find your change in x and your change in y. What is your change in x? From 2 to 5. It's adding 3. And then how about my change in y's? Subtracting 3. So your change in y over your change in x should be a fraction. Y goes on top. So which number should I put on the top of the fraction? Negative 3 over positive 3. That's your change in x. This can simplify. What does it simplify to? Negative 1. Please divide it if you can. So look at these two options. You could either just find the change between the 2 points, or you can make a table. Think right now, which one are you going to go with? It doesn't matter to me, whatever one makes more sense to you, or whichever one you find easier, that's what I want you to do. So if something is a horizontal line, then Slope Dude says this is 0 fun. If it's a vertical line, he says, and he falls off the cliff, he says undefined. We usually do pretty well with that. The issue I see is whenever you're actually finding the slope between 2 points, you forget which is which. If you have 0 divided by some number, what is 0 divided by anything? 0. This is 0. You can do 0 divided by something. That's allowed. What you can't do is some number divided by 0. When that happens, you have to say undefined. So this is your answer. Please notice the difference. 0 on the top, 0 on the bottom. The second one should be 0. You have to simplify if you can. If you're using arrows to find the change, then starting with a different point. So if you're going to start with the first point for x's, you have to start with the first point for y. And then the last one, if you're making a table, you put the points in wrong. So if you put like x, x, and y, y.